Hi guys, I am Mel and this is my channel where I build different random stuff. In today's video we're building a house in a Sims 4 using only base game items. And to not make you wait any longer, let's just start! So, first of all, we just need to add some money to our funds and also turn on free placement and of course a filter for just the base game items. I'm actually using a real house plan I found on Pinterest, which I will throw up on the screen right now. And as you can see, some zones are a little bit too tight for Sims. I would say it's kinda rare when real floor plans are translated well to the Sims grid system, so I guess it's kinda expected that I need to adjust some things here. I'm trying to keep a general vibe of the house, but we definitely will replace some items, and of course I will locate my furniture differently than it's on a plan. You can already see that I changed the size of the front porch, and also that I realized after building it that it's sitting too close to the front of the lot, and because of this I moved house a couple of tiles back. Making the roof is always so tricky, but I think this time I nailed it. And the only thing that I added fully from myself is this fence around the front porch. I think it gives house a little bit more finished look. I wasn't sure about using the wood for a front porch, but at the end of the day, I think it was a good decision. My to-go in a house building is to put stone tiles and call it a day. Also, don't mind me putting the very dark door with the white windows. I will fix it in a moment. It's just that I didn't realize yet how ridiculous it looks together. And I swear, it's a whole battle to pick a windows for a tiny house, because I love to put a full wall size window, but it wouldn't fit for this build. Like, it would take too much space that I could use for nice furniture, if I can find one. So I picked something more neutral. And as you can see, I also found the perfect swatch which combines a dark wood and a white frame for the door. So it fits with the windows and also adds a little bit of a color to the walls. Choosing wallpapers was also not easy, because at this point I still have no idea what my furniture options will look like. And I'm just trying to combine multiple color swatches and styles in one, as I usually do, but my decision stopped on these kinda similar looking wallpapers. I'm actually not sure if they are from the same style set, but at least they fit into each other well and I like it. Meanwhile, I picked the doors. I just chose something most simple and kinda, neutral. And for a bathroom, I just go with a simple white tiles, and for a bedroom, I actually spent a little time thinking, because it was hard to choose what color scheme I wanna go, because again, I have no idea what I will have of options for furniture. I just got too comfortable with using a bunch of packs, DLCs, and sometimes custom content. So now when I need to think, what do we have in a base game, what can I use, I have no idea. And as a first room to furnish, I'm picking the living room. And actually, I don't think I can even call it proper living room, since it's a massive open concept mix of the living, dining, kitchen, and entrance zone. But anyway, you can see I'm trying to follow the general idea of the floor plan, just adding some adaptations, such as making the sofa not for a full size of this, like a part of a wall, and also adding a little bit side table to it. I tried to put a fireplace there, but it looked kinda out of place. And as well as this table, which I will change a little bit later. A little spoiler. But choosing curtains was pretty easy, because my favorite one apparently is a base game item. So I just needed to pick a color. And at first I tried to make this table look more cozy, but something was off all the time and I couldn't figure out what. So I just filled it up with my casual items, which actually very hard to choose, because apparently I use a lot of items from DLC. And here I'm just changing my mind totally, trying to figure out if I can put some commode there, or if there any nice looking shelf. And yes, I actually found one. It wasn't ideal, but it definitely looked better than this small coffee table. Even now on editing stage, I keep thinking that base game has too little options over cluster items. And now I understand why it's kinda hard to make something look nice when you don't use any DLC. I tried my best to add some light or some decorations to show that somebody living in this house. But that's far from easy in comparison with when I use bunch of DLC or if I have a full freedom of using custom content. So yeah, I just pay my respect to the people who build incredible builds with just the base game items. And partially this is the reason why I wanted to make this build, because I know that not everybody wants and can have access to all of these DLC, but people still want to play and want to build nice houses. So here I am trying to share my vision for it. And while I'm yapping here, I actually finished main part of the living room. I still need to add some lights, and also if you noticed, I forgot to put curtains on the second window, the one that behind the sofa. And at this stage I still didn't notice it, and I will not notice until I finish a whole room. And for the kitchen I really try to follow the plan on the picture, and I would say this room is definitely the closest one to the original reference. And this time I even remember the trash bin. First, I'm doing the general planning and placing the furniture to see if everything fits and if I can match the styles between items, which is actually pretty easy because, again, base game has limited options. But on a good side, it removes my common struggle with how my kitchen should look. Also, some time ago, somebody left a comment about me placing a sink right next to the fridge, and ever since then, every time when I build kitchen in The Sims, I think about it. I know that for a real-life kitchen, the best placement should be with spacing in between your main items, but in The Sims, sometimes I just can't follow that rule. Anyway, while I'm yapping here, you can see how I'm trying to fill up empty spaces on the counters, while leaving also some zone open for The Sims to actually cook. And I would say that the one good thing in a base game is cluster items for a kitchen, because here you really have some options, but I'm still missing my drying rack for dishes because it's really adding this lively look. I think it comes from some of family packs, I don't know which one, but this is the item that I have in my every build. I'm pretty sure that in the past 5-10 builds that I made, I put it on every sink at the kitchen. And look, while I'm chatting here, I'm almost done with this kitchen. I remembered that I can actually fill up space on the wall with some pictures. That's actually pretty hard because usually I just put a lot of decorations on the walls and not exactly pictures or paintings. But this time I didn't have much options. For light, I always turn on night mode because I need to see how bright my room will be when I play. And at this point, I'm almost done. Just adding tiny bit of living details like small garlands, some tissues, and of course I still need to finish the entrance zone, which is pretty easy because only item that I can put is this rack for jackets. I also finally noticed that I don't have curtains on one of the windows, but I didn't notice until now that I didn't put any curtain on a kitchen window, so this one stayed opened. For a bathroom, I actually wanted to keep the placement of everything exactly like on original plan, but then I noticed that in The Sims 4 all the showers are made for left side wall, or at least the one that was available for me. So I had to swap the place of a sink and the shower, but I kept the toilet intact, because, I mean, that has a perfect placement anyway. And it's kind of funny for me how easy it is to make a bathroom on a base game than the other rooms, because I don't need to think about placement of the washing machine, and also I don't have too many cluster items that I tempted to use. In my packs, I all the time have things that either fit with each other or that I think, oh yeah, I would have it in my bathroom for sure. And here it just very minimalistic, I would say. The only downside is the curtains option, because as you can see, the blinds that are available in a base game are either too long or too bulky, but I didn't have much options, so I went with the most fitting one. The last touch for the room is a light, and then we can move to the bedroom slash office room. I actually need to change a placement of everything here, because the original plan absolutely didn't fit to the game. I couldn't put the bed in this small corner because our sim would not be able to use it. Partially because I needed to make this room a little bit longer, so everything will fit and that I don't need to worry about the doors will be blocked by something. I picked a modern bed because it had a good colors for me, even though I don't like the hat parts, but I decided that it's the least of my problems. And at this point I am trying to figure out if it will fit or not to have the table staying just in this corner, because in my plans was that if it doesn't fit, if Sim cannot use it, I will just turn and have it in a line with other furniture. This way it definitely would work. But, again spoiler, I was lucky and everything functioned. Also, I didn't know that it's so hard to choose and fit the empty shelves to the bookshelf. Apparently, they all not from the same style or color. You can see that I'm trying to find the one that will fit the best. They all either doesn't fit by color or by size. This one on the screen a little bit bigger than the bookshelf that I use, but I decided that I will just fill up it with some items and cover that it's a little bit different, okay? Let's pretend that it's perfect, because matching wood tones in the base game feels like solving math problems. I cannot match either tone or the style or the direction of wood, so the best what I could do is to just cover it up. I'm using a trick with another shelf on which you can place, I would say, almost everything from the game, because this gives me options of a little bit more items to use as decor. The shelf that I use for main build kinda limited on items to place, and I wanted to use something except just the books. I added a couple of pictures just to fill this small side space, because I couldn't put anything else there, and I think the small wall plants that I usually put in such corners are locked behind some of the DLCs. And for the desk itself, I didn't find anything better than the small tulips and the pile of books. The last important item for a desk is a lamp, and I actually was surprised to see this one, because I was confident that it's something from the high school pack. It didn't fit to this table, so I just went with something more simple and classic, but still, that got me confused. And while I'm recording this voiceover, the nature decided it's a great time to start thunder. So you may hear some noises, I will try my best to remove them, but something can still sneak into this voiceover. And meanwhile, I put a mirror and the TV, which I think wasn't on the original plan, but I felt like they both first fit, second, you really need a mirror in a room with your closet. And filling up all of these empty surfaces, like commode, table, really made me miss my cluster items. because I like make things look a little bit messy because that adds some realism to the game. But my goal was to prove to myself that I still can make something nice with just the base items. I guess the only place where I'm still not happy how it went is this commode, because something's still missing. I don't know, maybe I was supposed to add some candles, maybe some small lamp, but at least I really like how this shoe shelf looks with this mirror. I think it went great. And hey, look, now we left with only the front porch and the small front yard unfinished. I wanted to keep it simple, but honestly there also wasn't a ton of the things that I could even add. I also wanted to keep the general look how it was on the original picture. And if my memory doesn't trick me, there was only the bench and the one potted plant. I kinda upgraded it by adding a small table next to the bench and these 3 planters that you can see now, just because first, you always can plant something, second, I was a little bit surprised that it's also a part of a base game. I guess what got me confused is that the seasons have their own seed packs, and I always thought that the planting related to the seasons because of this. I will say that it's actually hard for me to decorate the front porch even with a whole bunch of packs, and having the limits of only the base game make me thinking very long and very hard. And for landscaping, I speed it up very fast because I don't really have any comments about my logic or thinking behind it. Usually when I add some flowers and trees around, I'm trying to avoid making it too symmetrical, because you know, in real world you have symmetrical plants growing only in a flower beds, and yeah. But as you can see, I still try to keep it a little bit similar to each other, both sides. And as the last piece of building, I just added a fence around the house to make it feel like complete build. Before ending this video and posting my creation to the gallery, let's quickly check if everything in the house is fully usable. I guess not every builder does these checks, because sometimes I get comments from people assuming a sim won't be able to use an item in a tight space. So now I always do a quick showcase of the gameplay when I build tiny or small house. But as you can see in this one, everything is completely functional, and even the work zone has perfect access to it. So I think I can officially call it a perfect starter house. So we have gotten to the end of this video, and I want to thank everyone who watched it all this way until this moment. I really hope you enjoyed the build and liked the house that I came up with. If you have any suggestions as to what I should build next or what limitations I should put onto my next challenge, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more content here and on my Twitch, where I stream 4 times a week. Love you all! Bye bye!